Hey guys, Brian here from Vintage Classic Specialist. Happy Monday everyone. It is time for another episode of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. And as you can see and hear, the barn door is alive and well here. Runs super good, guys. Let me turn this thing off and we'll chat about what happened here today. There we go. Okay. Thought that'd be a fun way to start the video. So yeah, huge day, guys, for this bus. 54 barn door, of course, if you're new here, that we built a hot rod, 36 horse based motor, 1500 cc's, made 65 horsepower and 104 foot-pounds of torque, something like that. Way more than it should for a 36 horse. Anyway, so yeah, this thing today, Rafa worked on it this morning and finished off some little details here. Let me show you what he did. We ran the, Rafa run the wires for the horn and the fog light and some conduit that we could find. It's not quite correct. However, unfortunately, I looked into the correct wiring shield or armor for these, and it seems that nobody makes it anymore. There was a company that was making it, and apparently they went out of business. So this is kind of the closest we could find. It's reminiscent of the right stuff, but anyway. So, but it looks good on there, and it's very industrial looking, I think. Which again, this bus being a combi here, industrial works. That's what these were. These were work trucks, guys. So anyway, yeah, with the horn there, the fog light there. Anyway, so yeah, we put some gas in this thing today and fired it up, and I thought Rafa was just going to drive down the driveway in it, and he did, and you can see the video. I'll post that up. And then I opened the gate, and he just took off. He just took off down the street in it. He went, I don't know, down the street, which is maybe quarter mile or so, maybe, probably not quite half a mile. Yeah, he just went down to the street, turned around, and came back. And the throttle initially was not returning all the way, so no big deal. Just put a little bit stiffer spring on the throttle back here on the motor. And other than that, guys, pretty flawless first drives. Again, you can probably hear on the video that the throttle was a bit high because, again, it wasn't really returning all the way, but easy stuff to fix. Trying to think what else he did today. Oh, here's something else he did today. Is he put in the correct barn door right-hand drive floor mat. So good luck, guys, finding one of these. Luckily, we have some connections, and we managed to get one. Took us almost a year to get this thing. Super rare, super hard to get. There's a guy that makes them, and he makes like a few a year, and yeah, good luck. It was not cheap, but look at this thing. It looks amazing. Super nice reproduction, really high quality rubber. It's actually feels a bit softer than the rubber floor mats that Wolfsburg West makes for buses. Of course, they don't make one for barn doors, so don't even bother if you're looking for one for a barn door. But anyway, so yeah, that went in. A little bit of wiring up front. Put some gas in it. Test drove it a little bit. And what else, guys? I'm trying to think what else he did. I feel like there was something else. Oh, I know what he did. Is he went around the whole bus with a camel hair brush and this paint, and then also the gray paint, which is in kind of the interior of the bus. You can see this gray color, and the undercarriage and the engine compartment. So pretty much went around the whole bus with a camel hair brush and did all the blue first, and then went around and touched up anywhere that's with the gray that needed some love. So yeah, lots of little touch up. Again, we didn't paint this bus, guys. Well, we didn't paint the outside of the bus. We painted pretty much, I think, the whole inside of the bus, the gray part at least. We painted the whole underside of the bus, and we painted the engine compartment. But the actual dub blue part, we color sand and buffed it. It was actually not too bad of a paint job, and so that's what we did. I actually also took it for a drive. I just took it on our little parking lot drive. If you saw the thumbnail for this video, that's kind of in the back parking lot that we use. There's a adjacent building over there that's got kind of a nice backdrop for a photo. So that's where that photo was taken. So this was my first time, guys, driving a right-hand drive vehicle. And I thought that my brain would explode having to shift with my left hand, but it wasn't as bad as I thought. And I think maybe the reason is that I'm actually left-handed. So I have a very dexterous left hand. I guess maybe for somebody who is right-handed, maybe that would be a little bit more challenging to drive a right-hand drive bus and shift with their left hand. But again, my left hand is the more dexterous of the two. So that wasn't an issue. But I think looking over my shoulder out this window and stuff like that, that's a little weird. That's definitely going to take some time for me to get used to. But anyway, so very successful day for this guy here. Again, we are planning to bring it to the Octo show in early June and VW Revival show also early in June. And yeah, so far so good, guys. I don't see any major impediments here to us making those shows. They're still about a month away. So, all right, so big day for this one. Another vehicle here had a big day, and that is, boom, this one. Look at that, guys. I just went ahead and put the motor in this. So if you follow the channel, you know that we dyno tested this motor last week over at Rafa Vintage. It made, let's see, I think 92 horsepower and 115 foot-pounds of torque. And it probably would have made a little bit more horsepower, but we stopped the dyno at 5,000. It looked like it might have picked up another couple horsepower if we took it out to like 52.5 or 5,500, but the torque curve was still pretty flat. It still had almost 100 foot-pounds of torque at 5,000, so really nice, very broad torque curve on this thing. Should be an amazing car to drive. And yeah, so I went ahead and put that in today. It did not fight me too much, although some cars, the engines are just hard to get in them. And I don't know what it is about some cars. Some cars, the engine just doesn't want to go in, and you wrestle it back and forth, and you tilt the motor and try and get everything lined up, and it still won't go in. And then you kind of keep trying, and then finally it almost just like slides in. I don't know why some cars do that. You know, we do all the little tricks like turn the pulley a little bit to make sure that the teeth on the input shaft of the transmission and the clutch disc aren't like misaligned. You know, all the things. We know what we're doing here, so it's not like we're like this is amateur hour here. But I don't know, for some reason some motors just fight. This one was a little bit of a fighter, but anyway, it's in now. And so yeah, with dual carb motors in Beetles, the carbs have to come off, the manifolds have to come off. I actually had to take the linkage partially off because it sticks out pretty far, and so I had to partially take that off to get it out. Of course, it was disconnected from the carburetors because they were off, but yeah, little stuff like that. I usually pull the pulley there just to help get past the body when you're raising it up there. So yeah, then just pretty much started putting all that stuff back on. Put the air cleaners on, and they're all bolted up now. Probably might have to take them back off when I go to start it if I have to prime the carburetors, but I may not. So we'll see. The carburetors have fuel in them. This motor was literally just run on Thursday of last week, so it may just fire up. We'll see. That may happen maybe later this week. We'll see. Still left to do is to connect the wiring, which is just kind of laying here now. And I still have to shorten and route the oil cooler hose, which I had on purpose left long so that, because I didn't know the exact length it was going to need to be, so I just left it long. And so now I can go ahead and route those and trim them and put something on them to secure them neatly up in there and stuff like that. But yeah, those are kind of the major things that need to be done. Have to route the fuel hose from the body, or the chassis rather, to that copper line right there that runs up into the under the package tray area. That's his gas tank, the bottom of which is pretty ugly. Top looks nice and original. So probably go ahead and sand that down a little bit and maybe put maybe undercoating or something. I don't know. We'll do something on there because that's definitely too ugly, even though it's under the tank. That would give me nightmares if I put it in like that. So yeah, we'll do something with the bottom of the tank. The top, again, kind of love how it looks. It's very original looking. So we're not going to touch that because it looks great. But yeah, the bottom, no, I couldn't sleep at night if I put it in there like that. So got to do something with that. And then the tank can go in, connect it. So yeah, guys, maybe later this week for this pup. This one may also be going on a test drive. I don't know. If not this week, then I'd say probably next week for sure. It kind of depends on what I'm doing around here as far as some other projects. But yeah, this one is getting very close now. The other thing I did today for just a few minutes, well, half an hour or so, was I went ahead and installed all 4 shocks on this one. Again, just trying to keep some momentum going here. So shocks, we like the shocks from Wolfsburg West. They're oil filled like the original shocks. They're not too terribly stiff like some of the gas filled shocks are that will just like beat you to death. And they look original. They're pretty much the correct colors and stuff like that. So we use those. And then we almost always install shocks with new hardware from Wolfsburg West, unless it's like really, I don't know, I hate to say high-end restorations because all of our restorations are fairly high-end, but unless it's a car that just needs all original hardware, then we'll restore the K-Max bolts and stuff like that. But for most cars, it's more cost-effective to just buy the hardware kit for the shocks and put them on and stuff like that. Same with these. We'll use these. This is the bolt kit from Wolfsburg West for those. They look nice, and yeah, it just makes more sense for some cars to use brand new hardware than to restore hardware. Anyway, guys, I think that is about it for today. Santiago is working on the seats for this one, the leather seats, and Renee is working on body work of the white 67 Beetle, and Raul is working on sanding mainly on the 72 Ghia, the other orange one, the one that's more of a, I think the color is called blood orange. So this one's 2 year younger brother. So guys, that is it for today. Thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.